Hey, how you doing? Got some scattered thoughts for you. To kick things off, depending on when you watch, you're probably watching this on July 6th. But today in history, back in 1975, July 5th, 1975, Arthur Ashe beat Jimmy Connors to win Wimbledon. And Jimmy Connors was the much younger, stronger favorite, and Arthur Ashe, being older and not as powerful, he outthought him. The tactician beat the powerhouse. So very cool story. And it was also the first African American to win Wimbledon. So Arthur Ashe, big deal in not just tennis history but sports history overall. So just want to kick off that little awesome tidbit of history there. Got some things I've been thinking about. I know we were talking about the chromium bend recently, and that got me thinking about other, you know, gripes I had. Oh, excuse me, it's getting late, long day. And I'm realizing that when cards are cut and distributed, it's kind of ridiculous that it's almost like the lottery, where the same it could be two of the same card from the same sheet, and they're just one is just cut offside, and that whole row is all jacked up, and then just seconds apart from one another in the manufacturing line, and one perfectly cut, you get it graded 10 out of 10, Gem Mint 10, and then the other one PSA 7, PSA 8, right, or 7, 8, whoever you're going to. As a collector, for me, centering doesn't matter if I can just get the card. In fact, the collector side of me says, give me the card that's off center. I'll take a deal on it, right? Because I just want the card, especially if I'm building a collection of some kind, especially for like any of my Harry Carson cards. I don't care. Just give me the card. And if I could pay less for it, by all means. But if you are someone who is investing to hopefully make some money off of it long term, or even if you're someone that's buying it to flip it, you want a card that's well centered. And when we pull these cards from packs that are horribly miscut, even for the collector and there's nothing wrong with being a collector that wants a card that looks good. Recent memory, even some of the Donruss 26 baseball I just ripped open, doesn't look that good, which is a bummer because you want to see a card that looks nice. But I remember the most recent that was really noticeable was the optic from 25, the football optic from 2025, that release. Some of those rated rookies were like, whoa, hey, okay. It was quite egregious, especially when some of those rated rookies are all about the borders and with the emojis or the designs, and it's like half of it's missing on the set. So in terms of just, I don't know, there's too much chance there, and I feel like if a card is horribly off center, there should be a much better quality control before it leaves. Like, I understand you can send it in for redemption if you think it's too off center. I'm well aware of that. I've never done that, but I've seen cases where people have done that and gotten a new card or gotten something better or got nothing at all. And those are the bummers, where they got something that was like, not what they wanted much later. Regardless, if something is like horribly miscut, it shouldn't leave the, what is, like, if we're like, as the hobby, what is the percentages here that, like, if something's like, yeah, that's good enough to send out, like, is it 65-35, right? Is it, obviously 50/50 is perfect, with 50/50 being perfect, 60/40, like what's the, obviously we want as closer to perfect as we can get, but yeah, some of those cuts that are coming out are egregious. Tops has been better. The Top Series 1. Now I'm curious what Topps Chrome 2026 is going to look like. Because I don't think, has there been, because like even the football was a little off. There was some cards that were like, oof. So it would be really cool to see. It'd also be cool just to see how the cards are made lately, like the most recent ones. So it's kind of a bummer in that regard that it's a lottery. Centering on a card is the lottery if you want to get a perfect card. And it's trivial because you'd think that, well, if one card's the same, if one card is perfect, why can't all of them be perfect? But we don't know the exact science behind it. Is it the machine wobbling? Is it a temperature thing? Like what? Why? Like why is that? It shouldn't just be like, oh, that's just how it is. Why? It should be perfect. We're living in an age of mechanical perfection, you know, or as close to perfection as we can get. Why can't our baseball cards be perfect? Is it done on purpose so that there's some type of, parity in the market? Parity in the market? Like, I don't know. I'm asking you guys. I have my own theories. I just said, I don't. Do I necessarily believe that it's being done on purpose? No. But you create theories when there isn't an answer, and when you never get an answer, when the question gets asked or complaints are made and then there's nothing in response, or the response you get is just corporate BS, right? That you just don't buy. So I don't know. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. So a 10 and an 8, a PSA 10 and a PSA 8 can be pulled from the same box, seconds apart in the factory line. Make that make sense. Something else I wanted to talk about. One of my favorite movies of all time, Field of Dreams, starring Kevin Costner, James Earl Jones, Ray Liotta, right? He was Shoeless Joe Jackson. That I think I want to say that was the movie that got me into collecting. There's another movie too that I'll share in a bit. And it made collecting more fun because it was a baseball movie. It was a summer movie. It was a movie I was allowed to watch. Shout out to kids with strict parents. Um, and that was something that film was something that made baseball sacred to me. And now as an adult, as the years have gone by, and the summers I've watched it, it's actually been a couple summers since I haven't watched it. I always tried to watch it every summer, and then just as time went on, and I was, my life was changing, I just didn't get to it, and I guess that tradition fell out the window. But now that I have kids of my own, it's something that I think I've already watched like 2 or 3 times already this summer alone, just having it on in the background. Does that count as watching a movie when you put it on in the background and you're getting stuff done? I don't know. Is it half of a watch? I don't know. To those keeping score at home, let me know. But the whole, the tagline, if you build it, they will come, right? That's something that really, really echoes in being a sports card collector. And the thing I loved about that movie too is that the whole idea of building this field, they didn't talk about profiting at all. It was just for the love of the game and for the love of baseball. And that's kind of like what collecting is when you're a kid. It's for the love of the game. It's for the love of collecting. You know, all the selling and all the market stuff, which I love, that came later. You know, that wasn't an option. Was Beckett pricing available? Sure, but that helped. That was used for trading. That was never for selling. You never sell your cards, all right? So, you know, that was more of a measure for trading and just to see how expensive a card could really be. And then to also keep the store owners honest. It's like, you know, this Frank Thomas is $350 and you have it for $550. That's not right. Get out. Okay. So yeah, that movie definitely sticks with me. And I'm curious, is there a movie, and I'll share the other baseball movie, but I'm curious, is there another movie out there that just really made you fall in love with sports all over again, whether it was a specific sport or sports in general? And then more importantly, with that love for the sport came with it a stronger desire for card collecting. Because that's Field of Dreams for me. That is Kevin Costner. And the crazy thing is I still haven't watched Yellowstone. And I got to get on that because I love Kevin Costner. I mean, Field of Dreams is one of my favorite movies of all time. So I definitely got to watch Yellowstone. The author, the guy who just wrote it, he was on was he on Howard Stern, or he was just doing a bunch of different interviews? He's got another great writer. So yeah, I got to watch Yellowstone. But anyway, the other movie I want to talk about, and I just love this movie so much. It was one of my favorite movies ever, 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 ever. A League of Their Own, starring Gina Davis, Madonna, Tom Hanks. The most memorable performance, love her or hate her, outside of comedy, was Rosie O'Donnell. Rosie O'Donnell, and if you grew up in New York, especially Long Island, Rosie O'Donnell was the best. And she was so funny. She was funny in the movie. Her show was funny. But then, you know, unfortunately, politics, you know, ruins things for a lot of people, and you can't say something about someone without their political view. Anyway, that's not the point I'm trying to make here. But Rosie in A League of Their Own was the best. I mean, so many. Taya Leone was in that. Bill Pullman, John Lovitz. Just such a good movie. Just such a ensemble cast. Tom Hanks. Just such a damn good movie. But yeah, that movie made me love baseball as well. And also helped me understand at a very young age that, like, yeah, women's sports is just as important as men's sports. And I got lucky with some really good parents, I'll tell you that. So they really helped me see the world as it should be seen, I always like to say. So, but yeah, Field of Dreams, just such a great movie, and definitely I want to hear what movies you guys have in your, you know, favorites list when it comes to sports films. Okay, last bit. This is sports in general, but it's not what you think it is. Taylor Swift has been playing a lot in my house lately because I have some children of mine who have become recent Taylor Swift fans. And music's not bad, not gonna lie. Never really listened to it before, and it's been pretty good. I'm enjoying it. Most of us know she got married this past weekend. Congratulations to her, obviously, and Travis Kelce. But my wife was telling me about how no one saw. My wife made a comment saying, "I've seen more tunnel fits of the players than I have of people's outfits for Taylor Swift's wedding. I was like, what? And and my wife never watches sports. She'll watch it if it's, if I have it on. But then I realized I was like, oh, because it's weird, the Taylor Swift wedding coverage hasn't been that much, which is crazy because when she was at a football game, she was being shown every 5 seconds. And then now she got married at Madison Square Garden, and it's like, why isn't this all over social media? At least I haven't seen it, and I haven't seen anyone else talking about it. Regardless, I not that I want it to be everywhere, but it's an observation. But the comment my wife made was very interesting. The tunnel fits. That's the red carpet of the NFL, right? We have social media primed and ready before every game to look at the players walking in, to look at their outfits. And some of these guys dress up for the occasion. They dress up for the tunnel fit, the red carpet. And it's pretty funny to think that like we've gotten so like that's like complete infiltration of social media into sports right there. Because we have transformed a cement service corridor to become a faux red carpet of sorts to look at players with their outfits, which is fine. I mean, hey, some of them are great. I think the funniest one ever, and the reaction was it was like 2023 when Debo Samuel wore the leather with the shorts against. I think they were playing the Eagles. Oh my lord! I'm not even going to repeat the comments, obviously, but it's Debo, who, by the way, is still not signed by an NFL team. What? I auto drafted on Best Ball, and I picked him somehow. He doesn't have a team. I on one team I auto drafted. I didn't realize the draft was going. I auto drafted Brandon Ayuk and Debo Samuel. So I don't know what to expect. I don't know where they're going to go. I would hope one of them becomes a Giant, and that includes Brandon Ayuk. Anyway, but yeah, the tunnel fit is a pretty interesting segment of especially football. I feel like the basketball players, I mean, some of those OKC guys, they got some wild outfits. But with like the football players, it was pretty funny to see the stark comparison between some of the teammates, right? You'll get some of the guys that are just like full on like expressing themselves through their clothes, and then you'll have like Daniel Jones. It's just like J. Crew, bargain rack. Like, hey guys, yeah, I'm here to play football. And then you'd have like I don't know on that team who was the most flamboyant or most tried to express themselves, but I guess he never played with OBJ, right? No, it was Eli. Yeah, but Odell wasn't that crazy with his outfits. See, I know this because the Giants' social media would show these things, and I don't recall that ever being a thing, right? Like, when did that become like, oh, the tunnel fit, let's do it, and even the beat reporters are doing it because it gets views, because people want to see it. And again, not saying it's a bad thing. I think it's cool. It allows the players to express themselves. It's young guys. They got they got a couple bucks. They want to spend some money on some designer clothes. Some of these guys are also, still looking for love. So maybe they're, dressing up to look nice. Hey, catch someone's eye and be like, hey, there you go. So, or a brand deal, right? Why not? Be smart, right? So it's just funny how that has now become a part of the game, and arguably to some the most important part of the game. And that's most of the entertainment fashion people. And that's, but I mean, as I said, brands dress these people for that too. They get brand deals, and this actually happens. So this is not like it's almost like a spectacle within the spectacle. It is a spectacle within the spectacle. Okay.